Hello students. So let's start here with the next chapter of your geography, that is chapter 4, water resources of Karnataka. So in this chapter we are going to talk about different rivers of Karnataka. So we have two types of rivers, or the rivers flowing in two different directions, that is the eastward flowing rivers and the westwards flowing rivers. So those rivers which are flowing in the east, they are going to the Bay of Bengal, right? We have the Bay of Bengal in the east, so they are going into the Bay of Bengal. And those rivers which are flowing in the west, they are going into the Arabian Sea. So the rivers of Karnataka are divided into two types, the east flowing rivers and the west flowing rivers. East flowing rivers end up in the Bay of Bengal, whereas the west flowing rivers go in the Arabian Sea. So first of all, let's start by talking about the east flowing rivers. Okay, let's talk about the east flowing rivers. So there are three major rivers here which are flowing in the east, that is river Krishna, river Kaveri and the Pennar and the Palar rivers which flow in the east direction, and they join the Bay of Bengal. Talking about the Krishna river, the Krishna is the second important river of South India. The first most important is Kaveri river, okay, and Krishna is the second most important river of South India, of the southern part of India. It takes birth at Mahabaleshwar. Krishna river is born where? Krishna river is born at Mahabaleshwar, and there it flows from Mahabaleshwar and joins the Bay of Bengal, right? So from Mahabaleshwar to Bay of Bengal, if you calculate how many kilometers it is traveling, in total Krishna river will be traveling 1392 kilometers. So first here, and the east flowing rivers, we have the Krishna river. It will be flowing it will start at which place? It will originate at which place? At Mahabaleshwar, right? Birth at Mahabaleshwar. We will write down like this: birth at Mahabaleshwar. And from Mahabaleshwar, it will end in which sea? It will end in the Bay of Bengal. And how much does it travel? It travels 1392 kilometers in total. It will travel 1392 kilometers, right? And then it will end in the Bay of Bengal. But in Karnataka, how much distance it flows? It flows only for 480 kilometers in Karnataka. So only 480 kilometers of the river is there in Karnataka. Remaining is in other parts of the country, okay? So we have so many distributaries of Krishna river, like we have Bhima, Koyna, Tungabhadra. All these are distributaries of Krishna river. Distributaries means what? They are the smaller rivers which are joining the big river. They are called the distributaries, okay? So we have so many distributaries of Krishna river. Tungabhadra is a very important distributary of the Krishna river. This Krishna river is helps Karnataka in irrigation and hydropower generation. Hydroelectric power generation and irrigation. These are the two important uses that Karnataka takes from the Krishna river. Hydroelectric power generation. What do you mean by hydroelectric power generation? Making or producing hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power is the electricity which you get from the falling water. The electricity which you get from water is known as hydroelectric power. Hydro is the word which means water, right? So hydroelectric power we get from water bodies. So that hydroelectric power we get from the Krishna river, because so many dams are built across the distributaries of the or the tributaries of the Krishna river, and these dams are going to help us to generate hydroelectric power. Also these tributaries, they help in irrigation. The nearby areas are irrigated, water is supplied to the nearby areas with the help of the different tributaries of the Krishna river. Okay, so this was all about the Krishna river. Let's talk about the second most important river here, that is the Kaveri river. Cauvery. So Kaveri is the most important river for Karnataka. For Karnataka, it is the most important river. It is also known as Dakshin Ganga. It is also known as Dakshin Ganga in Karnataka and in other parts of South India. Dakshin Ganga. It originates where? At Talakaveri. It originates at Talakaveri, which is in Kodagu district. Birth at Talakaveri. Okay, and from here again it will flow and reach the Bay of Bengal. So totally it flows from Karnataka and then enters Tamil Nadu and then it reaches the Bay of Bengal, right? So totally it flows for 804 kilometers. It flows for 804 kilometers. But in Karnataka, it flows, in Karnataka only 380 kilometers of that river is present. So try to understand what this sentence means here. Kaveri river is started in Karnataka. It is born in Karnataka and from there it will pass through Tamil Nadu and then it will enter the Bay of Bengal, right? So totally it covers a distance of 804 kilometers. But if you consider only in Karnataka, it flows for 380 kilometers only in Karnataka. Okay, again this river also, Kaveri river also has n number of tributaries there. So different tributaries names are given here in a textbook. You remember them. Also, what are the uses of the Kaveri river? It is used for agriculture, that is irrigation. It is used for power generation, which means producing hydroelectric power, and then it is also used for drinking water supply. So the water that we drink, it usually comes from the Kaveri river. The water that we drink in Karnataka or in Tamil Nadu, usually we get it from the Kaveri river. So for drinking water also, this river is widely used. So these are the three uses of the Kaveri river. Next, talking about the Pennar and the Palar river. These flow through the Kolar district. Okay, from the Kolar district they will start to flow. Kolar district, the Tumkur district and some parts of Bengaluru they will flow. Then they enter into Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu and then they make their way to the Bay of Bengal. So this is about these two rivers. So this was all the information you got about the east flowing rivers. Now let us discuss about the about the rivers which are flowing in the other direction, that is the west flowing rivers. Okay, so okay, west flowing rivers. Now there are many rivers which are flowing from or which are originated on the Malnad region, that is on the western Ghats, and then they flow westwards from the western Ghat and they enter the Arabian Sea, right? So some important rivers are Sharavati river, Kali river, Gangavali, Netravati, etc. So all these rivers will start or they will originate in the Malnad region and then they will flow westwards into the Arabian Sea. Okay, they flow down the steeps, right? If they're forming, if they are you can say if they originate on the Malnad, on the hills, then they will flow down the steep and that's how they create many waterfalls. Out of this, the most important one is the Jog Fall, which is the highest waterfall in India, and that is a part of the Sharavati river. Okay, so Jog Fall is an important waterfall. Similarly, there are many waterfalls which are created because of these rivers which are born in the Malnad region and they flow in the westward direction and then they enter the Arabian Sea. So some rivers name I will mention here. Sharavati river, Kali river, and then we have Netravati, etc. Okay, these are some rivers which flow, which are formed only in Malnad region, and then they will flow westwards and enter into the Arabian Sea. So this was all about the rivers of Karnataka, the two rivers that we have in Karnataka, or you can say the two directions in which the rivers are flowing from Karnataka. One is in the east direction, they flow in the east and then they reach the Bay of Bengal. And then we have the westwards flowing, which flow in the west direction and enter the Arabian Sea. So this was all about the two types of rivers that we have. Now let's talk about the next subtopic here, that is irrigation in Karnataka. Okay, so what do you mean by this word irrigation? What does the word irrigation mean? Irrigation simply means artificial supply of water for agriculture. Artificially supplying the water to the plants. Naturally supplying the water is rainfall, right? From rainfall we get a natural supply of water for the plants. Artificially when we supply water through wells, through tanks, through canals, that is called irrigation. Artificially supplying water to the crop is called irrigation. Okay, so Karnataka has been using irrigation since a very long time because we don't have even or steady rainfall in Karnataka. Okay, sometimes we get good rainfall, sometimes there is no rainfall at all. So because there is no steady rainfall, so we have to use this irrigation method. Sometimes if there is no rainfall, we can easily water the plants with the help of irrigation method. That's why irrigation is widely used in Karnataka. It has been an ancient practice. Since a very long time it has been used. The main sources of irrigation are wells, canals and tanks. Wells, canals and tanks are the three most important ways in which irrigation is done. In early days, wells were dug in the village for the purpose of irrigation. Simple well which was made up of mud, that was dug. But nowadays these wells, they have been constructed nicely. They are made up of stone using cement, and so that they last for a very long time, right? And they give you enough of water. Initially only the ground was dug and then the water would come, but now proper construction of well is done. Properly they are constructed and stones are put and the cement is used there, and so that you get a solid well. Later, the practice of construction of canals came into existence. Basically, near the rivers, the dams are built, and from them the water is sent to other parts or other fields with the help of the pipeline under the ground. Okay, this is the canal system. With the help of pipeline under the ground, the water will be sent from the river to the other places. Okay, from the river to the other places, water will be sent with the help of this pipelines there, that is called as the canal system. And then we have the tank system. Tank system simply means that a tank will be built and water will be stored there, and from that tank easily people can take water and irrigate their nearby fields, right? That is the tank system here. Okay, so you see different examples are given here of tanks and canals and well systems that were constructed in Mysuru, then in Krishna Sagar, all these different dams, they were created. At present, both river water and underground water is used for irrigation. Now, how do you use underground water for irrigation? With the help of well, underground water is used, right? And also you have tube wells or bore wells that you say in general words. These bore wells, from them you remove the water which is under the ground, right? So, underground water is also used. Nearly 26.2% of the cultivable land is under irrigation facility in Karnataka. So, total amount of cultivable land, okay, out of that 26.2% is under irrigation. So, that means they use irrigation to grow their crops. Without irrigation, they are not able to grow the crop. So, 26.2% of the total cultivable area in Karnataka is under irrigation. Next, India, Karnataka occupies 9th position in India with respect to irrigation. So Karnataka occupies 9th position, or you can say the 9th place, which has most a cultivable land under irrigation. Mostly irrigation is done there. Okay, so according to that, 9th place. Raichur district has the largest area under canal irrigation system, Raichur, whereas tank irrigation is maximum in Shimoga district. And then we have Belgavi district, which has maximum of well irrigation. So you have to remember these three: Raichur, largest canal irrigation, then we have Shimoga, largest tank irrigation, and Belgavi, largest well irrigation, right? Also, the land under irrigation is considered. Then Belgavi occupies the first position, and similarly Kodagu district will occupy the least position, which means that Belgavi has the largest area under irrigation, or largest cultivable area, you can say. Largest cultivable area under irrigation is there in Belgavi, whereas it is minimum in Kodagu district. Okay. Next, the main canal irrigation projects are there in India. See, canal irrigation, I told you, from the dams are constructed, from their pipelines will be made, and through the pipelines the water will be supplied to the fields, right? So the main canal irrigation are Tungabhadra, then we have Hemavati, we have Almatti. All these are dams, Krishna Sagar dams. So from these dams only water is taken and they are supplied to the fields through the canal system. So these are the three methods of irrigation. We talked about each in detail, and we talked about the different places which has maximum of each. For example, we said that Raichur has maximum of canal system. Okay, tank system is maximum in where? Which place? Tank system is maximum in Shimoga district, right? And then well system is maximum in Belgavi district. Okay, so these are the important points we understand under irrigation. So this was all about irrigation. Now let us talk about the last subtopic here of your chapter, and the important one, hydroelectric power. Hydroelectric power. So this is the next topic about which we are going to discuss. Now the success of hydroelectric generation goes to Karnataka. The success of hydroelectric power generation in India goes to which state? Goes to our own state, that is Karnataka. Because we don't have much of coal mines or much of petroleum oil resources. Okay, so we had to find another alternative, and for that we have this hydropower or hydroelectric power, where we're using the power of the flowing waterfalls. Now we have so many waterfalls in Karnataka, right? So we have built a dam across these waterfalls, and because of these dams, easily you can convert the power of the falling water into the electric power. Okay, so Karnataka is a major state in India which has successfully generated hydroelectric power for the first time. Okay, so there are different rivers in India which we learned initially about the west flowing rivers and the east flowing rivers. Across them the dams are built. Hydroelectric power station are in Shivansamudra, which was established in 1902 to supply power to Kolar gold mines. So to supply power to gold mines, this particular hydroelectric power station was established in which year? In 1902, which is a century ago, right? In 1902 it was established. Okay, this project was constructed over the river Kaveri. So where was this dam constructed? This dam, Shivanasamudra Dam, was constructed again over the Kaveri river. At a short distance away from the second hydropower station was established, the Shimsha hydropower station was established in 1940, about 40 years later. Then the Mahatma Gandhi hydroelectric power station was established near Jog Falls, and this was also established near in and around 1947. Later, many more hydro projects came to be developed on the different rivers in Karnataka. As a result of this development, Karnataka ranks first in the hydroelectric power generation in India. So if the question is asked which is the state having maximum hydropower generation, we have to say Karnataka has the maximum hydroelectric power generation, because so many dams are built right across so many rivers. We have the first dam in 1902, it was built across the Kaveri river. Similarly, we have so many other dams built there. So you have to remember all the names of the dams and across which rivers they are built, and also the year you have to remember. So 3 are mentioned there, remember those 3. Okay. So next here, the main hydroelectric power projects of Karnataka. Okay. First we have Shivanasamudra, then we have Shimsha, and they both are on the Kaveri river. Then we have Sharavati Dam and Mahatma Gandhi hydropower station, which are both near the Jog Falls. Similarly, we have so many other dams. We have the Tungabhadra Dam, the Bhadra Dam, the Varahi Dam, the Almatti Dam on Krishna river, and all these other rivers and dams are given here on page number 109. Please remember those. You have to remember the name of the dam and also the river on which that dam is constructed. Okay, so you have to remember that very well. So this was all about the hydroelectric power generation in Karnataka. We learned the different rivers, then we learned about what is irrigation, and we learned how hydroelectric power is, or you can say how Karnataka became the topmost state in hydroelectric power, and the different important dams that are built across the important rivers. Now let's talk about the next subtopic here, river water disputes. Disputes meaning fights between 2 or 3 states because of the river water. Now so many disputes have taken place even in recent days, and usually because of water the wars are always taking place. Many rivers in India flow through more than one state. See, as you know, the rivers are not bound to only one state, right? You cannot say this river is only in Karnataka or in Tamil Nadu. No, they will flow through Karnataka also, Tamil Nadu also, right? So this is given rise to many problems of fights about the river water. The Kaveri water dispute and the Krishna water disputes in Karnataka are the most important ones. So Kaveri and Krishna water disputes are the most important one, right? The catchment area of river Kaveri is spread in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Pondicherry. So in these areas you have the Kaveri river. Where is the Kaveri river spread? It is spread in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Pondicherry, right? So this river water, usually people will fight for this, especially Karnataka and Tamil Nadu have a lot of fight because of the Kaveri river water, right? Even till today these fights have not been solved. So these fights are just not only in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, even Goa and Karnataka, many states which are sharing the rivers between them, they have a lot of disputes or fights about the river. The Krishna river too flows to different states, that is Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, and this has also given rise to a lot of disputes and problems between the 2 states about the river water. So these are the different problems we face because of river water. But you see, water is most important thing that we require in our life, right? So obviously these rivers hold a lot of value. They are very important because they give us drinking water, they give us water to irrigate the crops. After we put water to the crops, only then we get good food to eat, right? So that's why this water is very important. So in this lesson you have learned about all the importance of the rivers that we have in Karnataka, and also about the irrigation and hydroelectric power generation. So please go through your textbook very nicely, because this is a very interesting chapter. Here you learn about the most important thing, that is the rivers of Karnataka. Okay, so with that I end the chapter. Thank you so much for watching, class. Have a nice day.